What's up, guys? Episode 19. Appreciate you guys as always. We have on today Digital.D, aka Darius, and he's a digital artist also. So check out his links down in the show notes. We kind of go through, everything as far as him getting started, his artwork, his takes on his artwork, where he thinks the space is going, how he got started, his day job, the balance in between crypto, just everything as far as, his mental framework and art. So hope you guys enjoy. I think his artwork is sick. He worked with Lane on a piece that's linked in the show notes also, currently up for sale. Hopefully, we'll get these two guys their first sale. That'd be pretty awesome. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Always appreciate the time. Thank you. Hope you guys are having a good week. Peace.
All right, so I'm cool. You're cool. I like the
Yep.
hat, man. Did you make that or no?
Thanks. No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna bring it up at some point, but I guess we'll start with that.
All right.
I'm actually one of the visual directors for this collective out in Knoxville, Tennessee, called Rooftop Collective, and that's actually where my manager Sterling comes from as well, and that's how we like got into contact and everything.
Nice.
And yeah, they do their own merch stuff. Basically, it's like a music slash artist brand slash label. We hunt, curate, and help promote upcoming artists that we, you know, like,
Hmm.
people like, respect.
Nice. So how did
And
you?
we got a.
Sorry,
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
keep
Go
going.
ahead.
No, no, no. You shoot. You shoot.
Well, I was gonna say we have a lot of stuff planned this year. I know we're working on new merch for this year. We just recently changed our handles to like Rooftop TV because we want to encompass everything, not just music.
Mhm. Nice. So how did you get started with? If you don't mind me asking, like, how did you get started having like a manager? Like, at what point did you decide, all right, I need a manager? Or
That actually came about towards the end of last year. Just everything going on with like live streams
Mhm.
and keeping up with different dates, time zones, schedules, artists, and files and things like that. It just got a bit too hectic for one person because I do also have the day job, like the 9 to 5,
Mhm. What do
and that pays the bills. But the artwork, is the passion.
yeah. What do you do for a day job if you don't again mind me asking?
I actually bartend at a local bar in town, Corona. So not much else to go around. I'm on the hunt for any type of visual job in like mostly in Chicago or Colorado areas. So
So are you in Chicago? Or are you in Colorado? Or are you just trying to move to one or the other?
I actually just recently, like last year or 2 years ago now, geez, graduated from college, and I've just been living in the small town.
Hmm. Nice.
It's called Bloomington Normal, and people always say, "Oh, you're so normal," and I'm like, far from it, because I live in the town.
So, how did you get started into the digital art space?
Well, I've actually been doing this for, let's see, I'm 24. I've been doing this for almost a decade, actually. I started in high school in your standard graphic design Gen 1 class. And by the time I got to graphic design 3, my senior year, I was like, yeah, I could do this for a living. And, I just followed it through college.
Nice. So, is your degree related, or have you done like coursework in college or?
Yeah, actually, I have a arts technology degree. It's a newer form of media. Like it's not even on most job drop down menus when you have to type it in. So that's a thing, but it basically encompasses all the stuff that 3D artists do, like video content creation, 3D modeling, stuff like that.
Mhm. So, I
It
guess
technically is a Bachelor of Science if you want to be technical.
nice, nice. Congrats on
Yeah,
graduating and everything. It's always nice to finish. That's always been
yeah.
that was I was happy to be at the end of the road as far as that went. Like did college, had fun.
Oh man, it's first generation, so I was definitely happy to be done with that.
Nice. Yeah, same, same. I guess we'll kind of hop into like the art side of things and everything. Like how do you describe your art style or work to other people?
Well, up until like I guess last year as well, like this last year I had a lot of free time, obviously because of the virus, to like work on art and reflect about what I wanted to do with my art and the direction I wanted to go. And I found myself like attracted to and like living in the sci-fi slash like cyberpunk workspace. And that was pretty much all of the content I put out last year. It was related to that in some form of fashion because I'm just so into like technology and that side of things.
Nice. So for me, like I look at a lot of your pieces and I feel like it's almost kind of like seeing a Mayan ritual meet like, the year 3000, right? Like it's a lot of like similar work as far as that goes. That's just like my own mental where, like the pieces of just people carrying things and stuff to that extent, like it seems like futuristic, but it also kind of seems like ancient rituals for some of them.
Uh, yeah, well, I always try to mix like themes with the cyber. Like that is always my main overall theme in the pieces, but I always try to incorporate other themes into that style and bring it into like a new light. Like I'm currently working on a personal piece that's inspired by Tarantino's Kill Bill, and
Nice.
it's like samurai meets futuristic warfare type of thing.
Nice. I think I saw somebody. I mean, I'm in New York City, and so there's a million things happening all the time. I think somebody was doing like a thing on the street of one of the final Kill Bill fights. So it's like the girl in like the yellow jumpsuit with the samurai sword, and it was just on like a random street in Manhattan.
Really? It's random streets in Manhattan, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was happening.
Yeah, people are just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. I've actually never been to New York. It's on the list for sure.
It's definitely. I mean, now it's probably too cold right now, but uh,
Oh
in
man, I'm from
oh,
Chicago.
so you.
Nothing's too cold. Nothing's too cold for me. Trust me.
I mean, so then yeah, I mean now would be a great time to come just because it's cold, people don't want to come. It's past New Year's, so then people aren't here for New Year's. But yeah, I mean with COVID and everything to that extent, it's definitely been like a good time to come and visit and not have to deal with the level of people that you're normally going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
I guess what else is on your travel list?
Well, obviously I'm gonna be frequenting back and forth between Tennessee this year, doing things with Rooftop. We're actually planning our own little like once it's safe again, and I don't even know when I'm gonna be comfortable like going and traveling for events and things, but we're planning our own like rooftop event in Fest in Knoxville.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the plan as far as that goes? Are you gonna try and do like the South by Southwest of digital art kind of thing?
Well, we have a lot of artists that are under our like watch and label already. We just released a compilation album on Spotify, and it got a lot. It's got a lot of dope artists on there. It's like 30 tracks. It's like your typical ASAP Mob kind of collective, but we also want to encompass the art side of that thing too. And that's where me and the other director Quigs, that's his nickname, uh, Andrew, and we focus on like the art side, visuals, and like curating content for that. So I guess we'd be in charge of like hunting for the lineup on that, and I would love to curate my own visual lineup at some point. So
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Do you do anything on the music side of things too, or solely on the digital art side?
God no, the music side is I've tried, and I definitely have friends who are like on that side. Obviously, being in the industry, but it's just completely it's like foreign language to me, as like Blender is to them. So
Yeah. You just had VJ Cobra said we going to New York, boo. Let's go.
oh man.
Yeah. So I mean that sounds pretty awesome. I feel the way that you feel about music and about art. So I can understand your take as far as the music side is concerned. Um, do you feel like for me personally, I feel like there's like a huge niche that you guys could really kind of have that digital space, but then have some kind of either like augmented reality or just full VR in terms of like having like a setup space where you can kind of like listen to like the concerts, maybe put on headphones and goggles and kind of like stroll around a space. That'd be like a cool dual piece.
There are actually things like that in the works and things like that that exist, but they're in their like very early alpha stages. Like I'm sure you've heard of the program Microdose VR that Android Jones is in charge of,
Mhm.
and we play around with it and everything. And he just did one with Liquid Stranger actually, where it was like you described an entire world, and Liquid was like within the world playing on the screens, and you were like immersed within it. And I know certain streams do allow you to plug in VR sets if
Mhm.
you own them and partake with them. But like I said, that technology is still in its like early alpha stages. So
Where I guess you're going to be a lot more nuanced in terms of the space than I am in terms of even my imagination. But like, where do you think the space looks in like the next, I don't know, year, 3 years, 5 years, kind of thing?
um obviously after the whole COVID thing, I definitely the space is gonna shift towards a more like virtual presence. Like I think live streams aren't going anywhere for a long time. Is even if people are sick of them, even I got sick of them at one point and didn't want to do any.
Mhm.
But they're gonna be around for a while, and it's a cool way. It's a different way to still enjoy the music without having to like put in the effort of say buying a ticket or like having to travel in cold weather. I definitely don't miss freezing my ass off in front of a venue
Mhm.
when I can just sit at home with Chloe and watch the live stream instead.
Awesome, awesome. Close the cat, right?
Yeah, she's actually named after Closey, the DJ.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel the same way. Where like, all right, you show up to the venue. If you drove, do you leave your jacket in the car because you don't want to do the coat check? You're in a
yeah.
t-shirt.
The code check's like $4, and that $4 like a drink that you could have, and it's a whole decision process.
Coat check's like $10 in New York, bro, and the ticket
Oh
is like
man,
12 bucks too. Yeah, yeah, no,
maybe I'm not coming to New York if that's the case.
yeah, it's definitely been crazy. Do you think that like COVID has changed your art in terms of like affecting your mental or anything like that, or in terms of your just day to day? Like, how does that impact your art?
It's definitely allowed me to like open up more of my art.
Mhm.
Like last year, I had a lot of time for commissions and personal projects in general that I didn't have, obviously, when I was going to school and finishing my degree. So that was nice. It was sort of like it was like I took a gap year, but like I was still being effective in doing things.
Nice.
It was like the outside world shut down, but the computer didn't.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
kind of the what I've kind of gotten out of like a lot of people is that it's been good for like self development and good
yeah,
for just focusing on yourself. I mean, obviously yourself and your digital space is kind of really where you're trying to take it, but even just the people who have like a normal 9 to 5 job, not having to commute and not having to have downtime just sitting at a desk, that's
yeah.
always been helpful for them. Do you have like a lot of hobbies that interact with the digital art space and like your music space?
Uh, Definitely. Well, obviously, since I'm a part of the space, I've started by going to like music festivals and camping festivals and things like that.
Hmm.
So I've been in the space for since like my freshman year of college, basically.
Hmm.
So I've definitely grown for the appreciation of it, and I've definitely met a lot of dope people in my life because of the scene and the space. So I'm definitely appreciative of it at all times.
For
And um, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I keep cutting you off, so you're good. You're good. My bad.
No, I was rambling. So go ahead.
So, for you in like the music space, like, what's your go-to annual music festival? Obviously, pre-COVID and hopefully in a post-COVID world.
Well, since I'm Central Illinois, cornfields and cows. There's the one in Chillicothe, the summer camp, and last year was supposed to be my first tipper set, actually, and obviously that didn't happen. So, and I don't even know if it's gonna happen this year.
Mm,
So that's obviously a downside. And besides that, I don't know if I really have a go-to
mm,
at this point. I've been to a bunch of different ones, and there are a couple ones in Michigan. Haven't really been too far, like out of state for most of them. I used to travel for Blurred Nectar events,
nice.
but we don't. I don't anymore, and don't support that anymore because how could I?
What other hobbies are you into?
Uh, I watch a lot of anime, obviously, and you can see that in some of my live VJ sets.
Mhm.
I just had a set with, I think he's from Netherlands. I always get it wrong, but his name's Dead Crow.
Mhm.
And I incorporated a lot of like Attack on Titan, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, like classic anime like that.
Mhm.
But also modern things like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. I watch a lot of that stuff because, that's what I find interesting. So,
Nice. So do you have like do you think that a lot of your works are kind of not offshoots, but do you think that they're influenced by your love of anime?
oh, heavily. And like just my love of like video games and technology
Mm.
in general. Like I think that's where the cyberpunk neon style comes from. Is just my love for that and being so attached to that. Like ever since I was a kid, I could just always remember being around some form of technology and wanting to know about some form of technology. So
Nice. So do you I've always noticed like the space is very collaborative and non I mean obviously, self-support but support others and I like it. I think that a point that was brought up on another podcast is that some people are definitely possibly not as genuine and it's just kind of faking it to pretend like they support, but in the true sense of actually supporting other people, like what other artists do you think inspire you when when you see their pieces that you'd want to give them like a shout out, where when you see work done by them you go, oh crap, like I wish I made that, or that's like incredible.
can I just send you a list? Cause it's like 30 of them. Cause it's like 30 of them motherfuckers, bro. They just don't stop. I guess if I had to ramble off a few names, obviously Steven Glass Crane just kills it on a consistent basis. Lane, obviously, we just had a collab piece video. Actually, that's available on Rarible that we're trying to sell right now. He does great things with the kit bash, and I actually just sat down with him for some ZBrush lessons.
Nice.
So hopefully, I can dip my toe into another program that I don't have time for.
What's the title on the piece, just so people can kind of look it up?
Divine Communication. I actually came to him with the collaboration idea. I had an idea for a piece of the two models staring at each other, like on from a glass pane, like they were connected, but from different dimensions.
Mm.
And obviously, Lane knew that I wanted to encompass the cyberpunk neon vibe.
Mm.
So he suggested that he kit bash it in ZBrush once I just did the like clay base model in Blender and send it over to him as a OBJ, and he just went beyond whatever I had in mind and like smashed it on the final render, and what I got back was amazing.
Nice. If you
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to possibly pull it up? He had shown it off when he was on the last time, but I just can't actually
I
find it.
do not know if I do. I don't think I have it on this laptop, actually,
Okay.
unfortunately. Yeah, I can email it to myself on the desktop. Mhm.
It's all good. I mean, I can always drop the link into the bio, so I guess if you're watching on YouTube, it'll just be down there. I
Yeah.
just, we'll try and keep the flow going a little bit.
But yeah, in
I just,
terms of like other visual
we'll try and keep
artists,
the flow going a little bit.
Databyte, isn't real name's Ash. She does a lot of like cyber neon future stuff as well that I'm also heavily influenced by. We actually met at a event 2 years ago and like said to ourselves that we'd be at the point where we're at right now. And it's weird to think about those conversations when you like look back on it.
Mhm. So, do you believe in like manifesting?
To a point, definitely.
Mm.
Well, I guess in a general sense, I've never been like too specific about it because I do sort of consider myself as like a pessimist and just I don't know, I have a tendency to assume the worst even when nothing's wrong.
Mhm.
So, I just always try to corner myself when it comes to being too excited about a space or art or any one particular piece because there'll always be another piece to work on. So I don't get too hung up on one thing.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like you're at least using it to your advantage to just kind of always keep moving forward, or
It's a nice reality check to keep me in check every now and then.
Mhm.
Cause I'm like, yeah, I made a cool thing, and then I go in the VJ group chat and I see what Steven made, and I'm like, I can make cooler things. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to see inspiration from other stuff, and it's I,
It never is like a downing thing because I wouldn't be in the group chat with
yeah.
them if I wasn't at least up to par in a sense.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of support and a lot of like esteem that you've gotten to this point, and if your pieces are, I mean, ever selling, right? Like if you sell one piece, somebody found it to be worthwhile, right? Like uh,
yeah,
Lane was talking about how he started off. No, I'm sorry, William. This other guy, William, was talking about how he would price point pieces too low, and then people would not buy once he raised the price point, right? But if a piece took you, a half hour, and then you try and raise the price from $10 to $30, people kind of balk at it. But if you
yeah.
just set that initial price point correctly, then people will always buy the pieces. My take is just if somebody's buying, $10, $30, whatever it is, your digital artwork, then at a certain point you kind of made it, right? Like,
Yeah, I think I just experienced that recently. Actually, I was always at a point before last year, I was always hesitant to say like the initial amount that I wanted to charge for this kind of work because up until that point, I had been doing like 2D flyers and like posters and things like that. So people knew me for that. And then like slowly migrated to the 3D space. And this stuff, a 10-second video takes 7 hours to render. So like I have to compensate for that
mm-hmm,
because that's 7 hours out of my day when I could be using the computer for something else.
mm-hmm.
And it just took me a while and I guess a confidence boost from other VJs to get the like confidence to say that price point at the start. And people, I figured out that if people really love the art and support it, they'll go through whatever channel you need them to go through because they want that art.
So, which, I guess, real quick, which means are you using to sell right now? Mainly Rarible.
Yeah, I've applied to Super Rare and other places like Maker's Place and Known Origin,
Mm-hmm,
but I just haven't heard anything back yet. I know, like Lane said in his interview, it's the market's. I don't want to use the word oversaturated because that sounds like it's demeaning the art itself. I guess there's just a lot of people trying to hop on the NFT crypto wave right now without like really getting the full understanding of it.
it's bottlenecked. We'll call it bottlenecked.
Yeah.
There needs more whatever validators or approvers or whatever the correct term is. But yeah, it's bottlenecked.
Well, they have the verification systems and everything, but I think it's just like a selection process from the
Mm-hmm.
websites, and it's a process like anything else. So,
And so then when you're selling on Rarible, the piece sells, and is it the same as other groups that sell where you're then tied into the royalties from each additional sale?
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I think that you're seeing it with like a lot of different like other places that if you kind of just set your piece to sell for whatever XYZ, 1 ETH or $100, whatever your personal take is. I think that if you do it that way, and then people decide to flip the pieces, like putting out good artwork and putting it out at good prices, even if they flip it to somebody else for more money, and you're still tied to that revenue stream, it's unique for this space, which is phenomenal. But you can continue making money.
Oh, dude, I'd be happy if someone flipped my piece because that means more than one person thought that it was worth. That means someone thought it was worth something, and then someone else thought it was worth more, and that's what. Who doesn't want that as an artist, honestly?
So do you think that there's going to be like an issue? I mean, there already is a disparity of collectors, people who buy and never sell, or hold for like a long period of time, and then like flippers. So you would you care if people were flippers?
Um, I don't think so. It's not a. I guess it's just a. I guess it comes down to a personal preference at the end of the day, and I guess it depends on how attached you are to a certain piece.
Hmm.
Like I feel like if I'm that attached to a certain piece, I wouldn't either want to make profit off of it, or I would like do like a print run or something like that.
Mm.
so where I know I have like full control of like distribution, profit, all of that. So
Is is there gonna be any way that you can kind of like take these 3D pieces and you know hold them? You think like almost like a snow globe where you have like a hologram kind of thing? Because that'd be pretty cool for your the piece that you did with Lane. Like imagine that was in like a snow globe or like a glass cube.
there's actually a website who's like doing something similar to that. Infinite Objects. I was actually looking into that this morning. You can just get like a still frame of one of your videos or animations, and it just plays on a loop. It's like $90.
Nice.
But as far as like that, I don't think that technology exists yet. And if it does, I don't know anything about it yet.
I'm sure it'll be coming into the space. I feel
it's
like
probably it's probably on the other coast somewhere where they have the Gundams.
yeah.
We should have those.
My dog's making an appearance. He's down low.
Clothes napping right now, so she doesn't want to. She's not a social person. It's fine.
Yeah, my dog is mainly he mainly just sleeps. It's the weirdest puppy that I've ever witnessed. My first puppy, but yeah. So
Yeah,
what's
she's
your
my first cat. So
nice nice?
yeah.
What's your personal take on like collecting? Like, do you keep some of the pieces for yourself? Do you collect other people's like aggressively? Are you a holder? Are you trying to sell other pieces or what's up?
Well, in order for me to be a collector, I would have to have the budget to have enough Ethereum to do that in the first place. But I guess most of the work I do nowadays is either like just one-off personal stuff, just because I had like a cool idea and wanted to like work on some techniques or something, or it's like for commission stuff
Mm,
that like I'm only gonna like post for that project. So I haven't really like been focused on the whole crypto NFT scene lately, but that's just because I've been so focused on the other stuff.
nice. So are you collecting like or are you owning cryptocurrency too? Are you trying to like buy that as you go?
Yeah, just along the way, just here and there. It's just not even just because I'm an artist, but because I see it as a smart investment.
Mm.
Like I said, like you said, down in like 3 to 5 years, who knows what the currency could be? It
Mhm.
could be fucking Dogecoin. And thanks to the other day, I now own 924 of those. So who knows? Maybe it'll pan out, maybe it won't. But it's $20, and people spend $20 on a lot worse things. So
So do you? I guess we could clear this question if you don't want to, but do you find that certain substances like help or like do you? I mean, we can stay legal, whatever. Like, do you like to whatever drink while you're doing art or anything to that extent?
oh no, dude, this is called Savage Talks. That's why we're here, right? I can definitely say that my art has been influenced by like past psychedelic experiences.
Mhm,
Like I have no problem saying that I've like eaten acid or eaten mushrooms, and like it's definitely I wouldn't say sparked ideas, but helps
mhm.
form ideas that were all that I had, but like didn't fully know how to execute or want to execute in that moment. And obviously, I just THC is legal in Illinois, so it helps with more than just the art. It helps with general stress, anxiety, hunger, everything. So I have no problem with that as well. It's not like a crippling thing, and it's not like taking out of my monthly budget to partake in it. So
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I've always I'm Irish. I've always just been like a drinker for the most part. So it's like, when I was a kid, I've tried pot and it just makes me paranoid. I have no problem with other people using it. I'm happy they have a good time with it. Dude, I can't even. I like my job currently drug test and I don't smoke, so not a big deal. But like even like one puff would put me into paranoia as like a 16, 17, 18 year old.
Oh yeah, no, and I have friends like that who don't smoke, and I because of jobs or just because of personal decisions, and I have no problem hanging out with them because they don't smoke, and they have no problem hanging out with me because I do. Like it's not like we're gonna be like, "Ew,
Yeah.
you're like that." None of us are like that. And I actually quit drinking last October just for like personal reasons. I wasn't like in a bad spot with it or anything. I just didn't enjoy it compared to like THC or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting to the age point where it's like, I don't know, I'll have like 3 White Claws, and I'm like, all right, like I got like a nice little light buzz. There's not like a lot of sugar content in it or anything like that. And I wake up the next day and I'm like crippled. It's like,
yeah,
I
this
wasn't
is
even
just like
broke. Like it doesn't even have
was it
sugar.
worth it?
Yeah, yeah,
And for me, it was just like it wasn't a bad feeling, but just like waking up groggy like that, as opposed to like waking up and like taking a dab or something like that. It just felt like that was better for me personally. Maybe you do wake up and you like want to have a sip of a gin and tonic, and I have all the respect for you because you're a braver person than me. Then that's all that means.
yeah. So do you think that crypto ends up becoming the future, or you're just kind of hedging your bets?
I think it becomes a part of our day-to-day currency for sure. I don't think we entirely do away with the old money system, but I definitely think it becomes like accepted in more transactions like Venmo and like PayPal and Cash App are.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
PayPal has it on the app now, and so does Cash App.
Cash
Kind of
App,
has it
yeah.
too. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely coming. I've paid people in Ethereum more recently and stuff like that. If they kind of like do me favors with like the podcast, they people want Ethereum. Like I have a
Yeah.
guy who does annotations, and he takes PayPal. I have another guy who helps out, and he takes Ethereum. It's like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it should be. It's another form of currency.
So for you trying to get and like kind of break into the mold with the different marketplaces, like how do you view the different marketplaces? Like, do you really want to be on one or another? And I guess like what's your take on the different spaces?
For me right now, I guess I'm not really like pushing for any particular one. Like I said, I'm just waiting to hear back from them, and if I get declined, I'll wait a few months, make some more art, reapply again. I'm not in any rush to like hop on the wave necessarily. Like
Mm,
I'm sure you heard about Beeple's massive like $1 million drop or whatever. Like I'm not like scrambling to get my art together to do a drop like that or anything. It just, if I happen to sell a piece
mm,
and find a collector who wants to keep buying those pieces, then that's a plus.
nice. So when you have sold pieces, like have you been able to like contact the person, or have they reached out to you ever after buying a piece?
I actually haven't sold any pieces yet on Rareable. Me and Lane are hoping that that one's the first one for both of us, actually.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean the piece is incredible. I mean for the people who haven't seen it, I I wish I could pull it up. I couldn't find it, but um, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And you
Let
know,
me see if I have it in the
I,
drive, one of the mini Google drives.
even if you just have the link, I just couldn't find it when I searched real quick, and I just didn't want to waste people's time as far as
Yeah.
trying to just searching for it.
It's a massive file, I'm pretty sure. It's like a 4K video. I'm pretty sure Lane rendered it at, I think it took him like 17 hours, he said.
So for the rendering, like, is that like a CPU or is that mainly just like a GPU issue?
Yeah, it can be both or it can be one
Mhm.
or it can be neither depending on the program you're using.
So if you had like the more newer graphics cards, right, like the 30 series, like let's just say you had like the 3090 and the latest and greatest, I don't know, 5900 XT, like how long could that render something in?
Okay, there are actually like benchmark videos that I watch frequently on this kind of thing because it's important to know these things when you're scouring the cards, even though you can't buy one
Mm,
right now anyway. um, it's a huge difference actually. I have a 2070 graphics card right now,
uh,
and it gets the job done. Like I can typically render a 1080p 2000 sample frame at like a minute, 2.5 minutes.
mm,
But I've seen benchmark videos where the 30 series renders that in like 30 seconds. And like when they're charging $500 for that,
yeah,
how can I not want that in my computer case to like push my art and like I can do more things quicker and have more things in my scene, more levels of detail. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely something to be a part of and be excited for.
yeah, yeah. So you have like the 2070. So I recently upgraded from the 760. My computer is from 2013. I built it, give or take 2013, and that 760. I mean, dude, I played Star Wars Battlefront. I played whatever. I played Fortnite. Fuck it. But
I
I
did
had
too. It's okay.
yeah
We've all been
yeah
there.
I had a lot of fun with the game when it first came out. Like I played like some of the newer games. I would lower settings, whatever, no big deal. The 760 recently shit the bed. I was playing Destiny 2, and the thing just like absolutely shit the bed. So now I have a 1060, but I'm in the process of like trying to like build, and so that's why I was asking because you know like not that I'm going to be in the rendering thing, but I render like the videos for this, and so dude,
Hmm.
like it's 2 hours, so I'll be excited because I actually have like a 3070 sitting behind me.
Oh my god.
Trying, I'm in the process of trying to build, um, and so it's just a very long overdue upgrade. I can't even put the 3070 into that computer because the motherboard and everything is too old.
Doesn't support
It
it.
doesn't,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I am working to try and get the other pieces, and I wanted the 3080 because from the benchmarks, like what you're talking about, the benchmarks on the 3080 is like the best price to up, like just increase power output. And
Yeah.
now with the tariffs, now it went up another $100 or $200. So to get the 3080, I would have like a $400 differential instead of a $200 differential, and I'm kind of balking at a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually upgraded from the 1650 last year to the 2070 just because the 1650 was like it was great for 1440p gaming,
Mhm.
but not for 4K rendering, which is what I'm trying to do here. So I had to like make a mid tier sacrifice until I can get my hands on a 30 card.
I mean, the 20 series is still phenomenal, right? Like, I mean, you're still having great performance out of
Oh,
that.
oh yeah, I'm flying through projects, which is nice when time crunches are a thing.
So so for you, like, do you obviously have like an animated piece with Lane? Do you think that animated pieces, hit different? Like, do you think that they're through the ability to be dynamic, they can kind of bring more to the table, or like, is it just kind of whatever you decide to do with the art and just push it?
Um, it depends on the piece. Well, unless it's like required, I typically try to like include as much as I can just in a still composition. But that's just because that's where my art foundation is at. Like went through the typical graphic design standard course in college, and I didn't even switch over into arts tech until like halfway through my sophomore year. So I was a 5 year, which was it was a whole experience in itself.
Nice.
But it was a good experience that I actually needed because I took After Effects class, and after that I got into the 3D things, and ever since then, and that class led me to exactly where I am right now. So
So this is just something that I personally just like to collect, whatever is kind of relevant and not relevant to other people's take in terms of what they like, but just whatever I like. And so I grew up and not really a big sports car collector, but I like the digital space. And so I don't know if you're aware, but like there's a big thing kind of like blowing up with like NBA Top Shot. Have you?
yeah, I've seen posts about that actually with the packs and everything. I think I saw one actually of a Kobe Bryant drop that was actually very good. He had like an angel halo and angel wings while he was shooting his fadeaway, and I was like, if I had Ethereum, I would go buy that.
So that was actually Boss Logic's drop from last night on Nifty Gateway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. that makes a lot of sense now.
yeah, yeah.
Like I said, I don't really keep up with the crypto news and scene as much as I would like to, just because this is like it's still the night job for me right now. It's not the like full time day thing, so I can't invest as much time into it as I would like to.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much. There's too much going on, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think there's, I don't know. It's a Rogan fact, and I'm gonna butcher it into a Savage fact, but I think there's like for every second there's like 600 hours uploaded to YouTube or something like that. Like every second there's 600 hours. So it's like watch or read or whatever. There's just too much shit
Too
going on.
much media to consume, and I say that as I'm staring at 4 computer screens right now, including the one I'm looking at you at.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
actually have the lane piece pulled up right now, ready to go. If
Oh,
people want to
hit it.
keep
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah. If you
I'll
want to just
share
pull it
my
up.
screen.
So the last time this happened, we ended up crashing. But if it can work, that would be
Oh
awesome.
boy.
We'll see if my computer can handle it. Let's see. I gotta pull up OBS to make sure people can see this.
It's playing on my end.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's not gonna be a perfect showcase of it because I
Oh
can't.
no, it's fine. It's not a perfect one on my screen either. I think it's still processing on Google Drive. I just have to re-upload it on there.
Oh, so he added in those wires going through too.
The everything, all the cyber parts on the left model and the texturing was done by Lane. I just had the idea concept and the clay render with the two models and the like hand wires. Everything else, like the entire body, was Lane like popped off in ZBrush with the kit bashing on that, like he did with Steven's piece.
Yeah, yeah. No, that piece is awesome.
And yeah, when he sent me this back, he sent it to me at like 2 a.m. I was like in the middle of a deep sleep, and I was like, "No way, you made this into that." So yeah, that was collaborations like that are always dope to see.
Yeah, no, that piece is incredible. I'm glad that you are able to pull that up. Let's see. Okay, I think if I click stop watching, okay, that's back to normal. Let's just double check
Yeah,
OBS, and we're good. Okay.
don't
Yeah.
want to give away all the project files.
So, like for you, do you think that? So for me, from like the outside looking in, obviously I know what your art is. I personally like I see the success that like the NBA Top Shot is, right? And so the NBA Top Shot is like literally nothing special. It's not that Kobe piece. My personal take, that Kobe piece is incredible. I agree with you. The Top Shot is literally just a GIF moment built on the blockchain, and they're selling it as like a card, as a moment, right? And so people collect it. You can open packs, and then you get three
Yeah, I think
moments.
I've seen that. There's like videos from like the classic games and things like that people can buy or something.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to do like card packs for digital art, like smaller pieces or pieces that maybe don't sell or whatever, and you can kind of like bundle it with like a group of people. And I think that there's like something to that in terms of like okay, like maybe there's like a I don't know a beeple thrown in or something like that. That's a part of like the packs in terms of chasing, right? Like every time you chase a pack, right? Like Pokemon cards, you're chasing a Charizard or whatever, something to that extent. But I think it'd be a good way to
And it
sell.
includes like a different artist's like work. That could be a dope collaboration effort in terms of like the NFT space.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe that's an idea. There was another site that I stumbled upon where people sell things anonymously, and like, what's your take on anonymous selling versus kind of not that people really ride their fame, right? Like, there's the space is so new that nobody's really just beating their one technique into the ground or trying to mass produce things to make money on it. So there's no
Hmm.
criticism from that. But like, what do you think about anonymous selling?
I think it depends on the person and like the piece. If they're really attached to it and want people to know that they're attached to it, then obviously you won't want it to be anonymous. But if it's just a one-off random thing that you just decided to put up on the marketplace for the lulls, why not keep it anonymous? Who's gonna know? You'll know, but that's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
It's
don't.
a personal preference, so
So like, if you like, what's your biggest struggle right now as like a digital artist? Is it like the creation, the promotion, time, mental space?
I guess for me specifically, it definitely would be the time thing. Like, I definitely wish I could do this, like wake up at 9 a.m., feed Chloe, and like come to the desk and like get to work. But I have to like wait until like 4 p.m. every day to come home and like do things. So it definitely like makes me I don't. It definitely keeps me more organized and like time sensitive of things because these things do take time to render. So I have to be aware of like deadlines and such. So I always try to like plan pieces in advance, and even live streams I'll try to like record like a week ahead or something, just because they're always issues and technicalities that you run into, because it is technology, and technology always fails at some point. So you have to be aware of that too.
So can you want to go a little more into like your live streams? Like, what's the setup? What do you do? Where do you live stream?
Well, I live stream from right here at the desk. Usually, if it's live, you use the program, the standard VJ software called Resolume, and you just feed your output to whatever Twitch code or key
Mhm.
that the stream is providing, and like they give you like the bitrate settings, audio settings, everything for that. But if it's pre-recorded, typically the artist records the mix, you get the audio, and you record your visuals to the audio, and then you just clip that to MP4 and upload it to the drive.
Nice. So how long would it typically take you to do like a, I don't know, a half hour set?
It depends on the set. If it's like a spur of the moment, agreed to thing, like week of, I'll just like freestyle most of the clips and just like go with the vibe of the beat. But if it's something like a specific artist or like a bigger set that I'm like planning for, trying to curate, I'll definitely like take some time, like a week or two, to like plan out clips and like flow of the set and things like that.
Nice. So what, if you had like the magic wand situation kind of happening, what would you do to fix or change the NFT industry as a whole?
I don't really think there's anything wrong with it per se. I think there's just needs to be it's a lot of open space. Like for most of the marketplaces, they don't have an actual like direct support page or link. It's just like a Discord channel,
Mhm.
and in the community like helps you figure out problems. Like say you're having problems with like your wallet connecting or something, you just have to go on the Discord channel and hope that someone responds, as opposed to like having a dedicated contact us page or something like that. So I think it's just like taking the time to like expand and lay more groundwork for that.
Mhm.
But I think that also teeters into the like business like structure side of things, and that defeats the whole purpose of the whole NFT movement. So it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the, I agree with you, right? Like I think that like the space is meant to be decentralized, but then at the same time, like I think that you can't always rely on you know decentralized coders to improve or change or fix certain things, or even like what you're saying, right? Like build out, say, like frequently asked question pages, right? Like in terms of wallets and stuff. So having that kind of interface into the decentralized, I think is somewhat necessary.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they'll get to that point at some point. I just think they're just trying to find the best way to go about it without upsetting the general community.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a not as not as nice way of putting it, but they're trying to figure out how to monetize on whatever XYZ is in terms of
Yeah,
fixing things.
there's definitely going to be a government slapdown at some point. There's too much money to be made and them not to get their hands on it. So I'm sure that'll be a thing at some point.
Yeah, yeah. It was a conversation that I had with like my buddy, and he was trying to pitch. So I have a friend who's very heavily into investing, like the whole GameStop thing this whole week, and Dogecoin and Ethereum, and dude, buy Chainlink, all this shit. And then I have another friend who works in the space, and he went from working with MetaMask to working with Coinbase now. And so, from like talking with both of them, it's like I personally think that there's going to be the government slapdown too. And so my buddy who's invest is sitting there going, oh well, just buy Zcash or Monero or like the other privacy coins. But then my buddy who works for Coinbase now, he's sitting there going, yeah, but you could just send it to a blender. Like you could just take all your Ethereum, send it to a blender, and that sends it to an anonymous address, and they can't find it. And so that accomplishes the same task. So I don't know. That's my take in terms of the slapdown. I think that the people who are ingrained with like the crypto space, they know how to circumvent, and the government doesn't have the tendrils into you know the same thing with like smartphones, right? Like in terms of the backside of
I
things.
will definitely say that you're right on that front. I say it all the time. The internet always finds a fucking way,
Mm.
and they will find a way, even if there is one. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, that's what you're seeing with the GameStop situation. I don't know if you do you know about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The internet
I've
finds a
been
way.
following it closely. Yeah.
It's so I'm still listening to the podcast, but Chamath from Facebook, he's a part of a All In podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts, which is why I started out a podcast because I figured why not talk to people like you that I'm super interested in, right? And so the digital art space is awesome, and so that's why I'm having you and some of your buddies on and everything to that extent. But the Chamath podcast from last night discusses like that whole GameStop situation, and I highly recommend a listen. It's called the All In
Really, you're gonna have
podcast.
to shoot me the link.
Yeah, yeah.
All in podcast. Okay, word. Spotify.
Yeah, yeah, Spotify, Apple, they're on everything.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah. So highly recommend that. I guess we'll focus back on you. Who are your like three biggest influences in life?
Oh, in life. Oh man. My parents, obviously, like birth givers, obviously raised me for 18 plus years, so they definitely have a lot of influence on upbringing and like how I view myself in the world and like things like that morally.
Mm,
Um, I guess is the general one, and it encompasses the whole umbrella. They know who they are. My fucking friends, the best people I could ever ask for in my life. They keep me like grounded when it comes to the art thing. They remind me that even when like it does get isolated and I get too like focused or like down on a piece, they're like, yeah, it's still good. We still love you. All of this, all of that. And then I also have other art friends who I can go to and be like, yeah, that piece of shit, Cap. I need you to fix this lighting. I need you to fix that texture. And I could be like, cool, thank you, because I also thought it was shit. Glad you said
mm,
that. So those are two. The third, I the only 2 years old, but I guess my cat, she does a lot of the like mental relief and relaxation when I'm not staring at the screens. When I need a break, I'll just like go bully her in the living room or something.
nice. So
Yeah, so she definitely helps with the whole being the artist thing. So
nice. Yeah, you and Lane had like a bunch of cats behind him when we were interviewing too. His cats were going crazy.
yeah, you'd be surprised how many VJ people own cats actually.
I mean, it's good for like what you said, where if you want some kind of comfort or want to go bully something, the cat's there.
Oh no, she wins 90% of the fights. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. I've been bit by a cat and I've been scratched by a cat. I don't. I'm fine with petting cats, but if they're mean, I'm running.
And she'll chase. She's faster, I promise.
So for you, I guess just to close out the question I'd like to hit is like, if you were in my shoes, what question would you want to be asked?
uh, I guess would be you kind of touched on it throughout the entire thing, and I guess I kind of touched on it throughout the entire thing. But like, why I do what I do, and like what drives what I do, like what even like I said, I have like the 9 to 5 was like keeping me coming home and like still opening up Blender and like working on stuff every day, and I don't know. I just love making things. I guess I love taking ideas that I have, and I love that I have a way to like physically represent them and accurately represent them. Like if you could have told me in my graphic design one class in high school that I'd be making like cyber women with wings, I would have laughed at you because there's no way. And yet here I am.
And the pieces are awesome.
Yeah.
You have any questions for me?
Um, I don't think so. I guess most of it's a podcast, so I guess it's not really a dual sided interview. Besides, like, unless I come to New York, obviously I have to visit and say hello.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean for sure. I mean, it's something that it's something I've been saying for like a lot of the podcasts is if people come to New York, definitely, and I'd like to check back in 6 months to a year and see where some pieces that you're working on now come out, and I'm certain that we'll be discussing sales and stuff like that, and so the
Hopefully, about 6 months, I'll have a 3070 in here, or 3080 in here. We'll have some better pieces or bigger pieces to talk about.
Yeah, man, I'm sure it's coming. I mean, I'm sure that the shortage will be over by then too. I'm pretty sure they can
If
only
you're
scale.
listening to this, drop more cards. I have the budget. Let's go.
I'll keep my eyes out for you.
Please.
All right. Well, dude, thank you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate
Thanks for
going
having
over
me
everything.
on.
Yeah. No, this was sweet, dude.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think down in the show notes. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed Digital D. What can I say? Great artist. Awesome time talking to him. It was a blast. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Appreciate your time, as always. Peace.